Hi, and welcome to Sparkles, the show where we prove that life and crafting is messy by starting an unbagging video and not realizing the camera's not recording properly. So, for anybody who isn't me, let's review what happened. We have an unbagging from Amazon. This is the box that it came in. It's an A4 light pad from FOME. It is one of the cheaper options on Amazon. I have hit the point where I need a light pad for quite a bit of crafting, so it was time to make that investment. This thing's great for drawing and tracing, for diamond painting, anything that really you could use your backlight behind what you're working on. So these are the instructions that came with it. One of the things that I really want to highlight is feature number 2. Super bright, eco-friendly LED ensure extremely low calorific value and lifespan up to 50,000 hours. I don't personally intend to be tasting this. I will take them on their word that it's a low calorific value. However, I have to say that's a very unique selling point. Yeah, I'm totally being sarcastic here. So, this is the light pad. It's the A4 size. It's got a nice static to hold that paper onto it, actually. And it does have 3 different settings. So 1, 2, 3, with the power off. And I will put my diamond painting over this, and we will see how it looks with the diamond painting on it. My hope is that this is going to make the diamond painting a lot easier, because I am having trouble seeing this one, guys. Oh, that is nicer, yeah. Definitely a lot easier with a backlight, eh? And I can only imagine that's probably going to look better on camera as well. So, I am going to set up for a little bit of time in painting here, and I will tell you a bit of a story while I work with this light pad so I can see how well I like it. I am going to tell you the story of the jello that I made today. I like to play around in my kitchen. Sometimes things go really well, sometimes things don't. So, a couple months ago, way back when it was raspberry season, I went out to the local pick your own farm, and well, we didn't pick your own that day because as we got there, the skies opened up and it began to rain. We did buy some pre-picked, and I have a gorgeous photograph of my daughter in front of 2 flats of berries with berry juice all over her mouth. And she's just as happy as she could get because my girl, she loves berries. And so I had bought a bunch of berries with the intention of making jam, because I make jam every year. But there were a lot of berries in these flats. They really actually went further than I expected. And I had a lot more really ripe berries than I had anticipated. So, with a bunch of the raspberries, I ended up canning up some raspberry syrup, which is just, I cooked up the raspberries all mashed up with a bunch of sugar. I want to say I followed a recipe I found online, to be honest. And then eventually ended up straining out all the pulp and the pits, and finally hot water bathed it for something like 20 minutes. You know, that's actually a horrible description of a recipe, but I followed somewhat along that procedure. It was the first time trying this recipe this year, and I had done it with the intention of making syrup for like pancakes or cake or something, but also just I kind of wanted to experiment with it. So today I was feeling creative and I didn't have a lot of time. I was just working with my break at work, so I only had 30 minutes. And I thought back to some of that raspberry syrup that I canned up a couple months ago, and I decided to make some homemade jello. So I got it out, added some water, dissolved some gelatin into it, and did not dissolve enough gelatin the first time, mind you. So it didn't quite set as it set a lot looser than I had hoped. So I went back, dissolved more gelatin in more water, incorporated that, remelted it, and re-put it back in. And it set up the second time. It set up beautifully. Looks exactly like the jello that comes out of the jello box powder. But it's a little cloudier. It's not as clear, like crystal clear as the jello is. Now, when I made the syrup, I tasted a bit of it coming out of the jar, and it tasted still amazing. It was like biting into a really bright, really intense raspberry, sweet and tart, and like just really good and fresh tasting. And when I made the jello the first time, it retained that flavor. So I think had I not screwed up the first time, I could have ended up somewhere really delicious. But I reprocessed the thing. And when I reprocessed it, it ended up tasting, I swear to goodness, like it came out of the box. So, I ended up very proud of myself for what it looked like up until I tasted it. And then I was just kind of disappointed that I had put all this work to make raspberry syrup and can it and preserve it and then go and turn it into homemade gelatin. And here I am, I'm the mom of the year. Look at me. I'm just filled with pride. Like, yes, I am feeding my kids sugar, but at least, gosh darn it, it's sugar that I processed and made all from scratch, and I know everything that's in that jello, and the whole 9 yards. I'm all up on my high horse. I put this stuff in my mouth, and honestly, I could have gone to the store, spent 99 cents, and eaten something that tasted very, very much the same. So, as a culinary experiment, that was a glorious fail because, quite frankly, I am not putting hours upon hours of work into making something that I could have bought at the store. I am just not that committed to knowing the source of my jello as to whether it comes from a large corporation or fresh berries and sugar if the end result is really honestly going to taste pretty similar. So I am not giving up on this experiment. Like I said, I still think there's a possibility that if I hadn't had to reprocess it and add that more water, I think the more water over diluted it, that if I hadn't gone there, it could have ended up well. But I will say, in the school of hard knock mom life, this was a whole lot of effort. Now, my daughter thought it was great because she's never had jello before in her life. But I was, yeah, I don't think they'll continue that experiment much further. Let's put it that way. Okay, so having placed a few of these drills now, I can tell you that I am absolutely loving this light pad. I don't know that I would always use it this bright. I think that might end up with a little bit of eye strain, especially if I'm working too late into the night. The amount of blue light coming off this is definitely worth keeping an eye on, but I'm loving it. the one thing to keep an eye on is just staring straight into this type of light is not ideal for one's sleep cycle, which for people with mental health issues can be an issue. So caution, maintain your sleep habits and your sleep hygiene if stuff like sleep is of a concern for you. But other than that, yeah, I really like it. This is obviously just a first review in that I haven't used it for a long time to see if it acts up, overheats, what the longevity of it is like, how I like actually being. Now it does require being plugged in to use, so I don't know how I'm going to feel about the tethered life, but so far I am very much impressed and very happy with this. I can really see it helping. I am curious about one other thing as I make a mess, and that is if I put some heavy duty cardstock on it. So I'm just going to take some pieces here that are from a project that I'm currently working on that I will be filming shortly. And sorry for the brightness, but if I put the heavy duty cardstock, can I see through it? Not on the black, a little bit on there. Oh, let's see. No, not really. Okay, so that would work for lighter papers. Oh, white cardstock. White heavy cardstock. Do I have any nearby? No. But I do have. This is for some 65-pound paper. And that sees through quite beautifully on the 65-pound paper. So, 176 gram if that counts. So, yeah, I definitely can see the use in that. That can only possibly help my crafting situation out. So, with that, I think I will bid you